Okay, here's a slightly more difficult photo lineup question. How many ways can 6 people line up for a photo if Tom and Jerry must be together? So assuming Tom and Jerry, of course, are 2 of these 6 people lining up for a photo, we're going to start off with our fundamental counting principle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, but before we do that, let's make sure we understand the question. We have to keep Tom and Jerry side by side. So how many ways can we do that? Now we're going to do this a long way initially, and then we'll look for a shortcut. But I think the long way actually be worth the trouble because more people will understand it. So let's keep Tom and Jerry together. So they could be in the first 2 positions, or they could be in the second 2 positions. From left to right, of course. And then they could be starting in the 3rd slot. We need a couple more here. And remember, this is the longer way, so you won't have to painfully go through this every single time, but hopefully you'll understand the question better. So where are we? TJ, Tom and Jerry here, and then finally in the very rightmost pair. So one way of setting this up is no spaces to the left of Tom and Jerry, and then 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces, and 4 spaces. And we can see we got 5 different ways that we can get Tom and Jerry set up side by side in the photo. And also what you might recognize is there's another way that we can do that. Let's see if I can copy and paste this so you don't have to sit through me copying this again. There we go. If I get rid of all these, if I just switch Tom and Jerry, keeping them in these same 2 positions and just doing a switcheroo there, Jerry on the left this time. Oops, that's still the eraser. We'll go JT. We can see we actually can double the total number of ways that we can keep Tom and Jerry together. So I'm just going to quickly go through and tidy this up. Switch all these letters. Without erasing the spaces as well. And maybe if you didn't follow me the first time, it might be good to go through this again. I'm erasing everything here. There. Okay, so first 2 spaces, we got JT, and then 1 space to the left, 2 spaces to the left. Of course, you could be counting spaces to the right as well, which might be easier at this point. And then finally, we have JT. So these are 5 in each side, 10 different ways that we can line up people for a photo, keeping J and T together. But of course, we have all kinds of other moving parts here. Every single time we have Tom and Jerry together, we have to be aware that there are 6 people in total, that there's going to be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 ways of cycling through and arranging the other people. And of course, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, etc., etc. So I'm going to spare you watching me write this down every single time, but what's hopefully obvious now is that there's going to be 10 different ways we can keep Tom and Jerry together in this lineup, and for every one of those ways there's going to be a 4 factorial cycling through of the remaining people in that photograph. So what does that give us for an answer? That's going to be 10, of course, times 24. Check that on your calc. 24 times 10 is 240. So how many ways can 6 people line up for a photo if we got to keep a pair of them together? That's going to be 240 possible photos. And you might be probably asking yourself, well, okay, is there a faster way of doing that? Of course there is, so let's have a quick look at that. And this is one of these tricks involved in counting, and the trick is, if you think of Tom and Jerry, or wherever the people happen to be, as just simply 1 block. Even though there's 2 people, think of it as one thing. And if there's 6 people in total, just like we had before, there's 4 other people. So that actually means, now again, we're treating this, remember, just as a block, so maybe I should just circle that. we're going to think of Tom and Jerry as one person with 4 remaining people, and you ask yourself, how many ways can we arrange 5 things? That is 5 factorial. And then to finish off, we also have to say to ourselves, well, everywhere Tom and Jerry lands in this configuration of 5 items, there's going to be 2 factorial ways that we can arrange Tom and Jerry, Tom on the left or Jerry on the left. So we also have to multiply this by 2 factorial. So that's a much faster way of doing the question. And let's just double check our math here. This is 120 times 2, which thankfully gives us the same answer. So a little more complicated, so rewatch this video if you need to and look at the more elaborate way I set it up. And also, of course, concentrate in the last minute or so here where, remember, we use this trick, which is to think of Tom and Jerry as just one item. Might be a better word than saying one person. One item, and then cycle that through the 4 remaining items to get your 5 factorial here. And then don't forget the 2 possible ways you can rearrange Tom and Jerry every single time they land in one of these pink slots here. And that will still give you probably a more efficient answer and the same answer. Most importantly, 240 possible ways or photos.